You're listening to thelocal.gg, the only podcast dedicated to the business of esports gaming centers. This is the place for real-life insight on how to build and operate an outstanding esports facility right in your local area. Each episode offers insider secrets on how to truly maximize your efforts through marketing, technologies, and customer service. Are you ready? Let's go! Brought to you by Contender Esports.
Okay, Carly, here we are to do a podcast together. Is this fun?
Yeah, I've been on a podcast once before. So.
What was it on?
Mental health.
Really?
Yeah.
You were the guest or you were hosting or what were you doing?
I was the guest talking about my own mental health journey.
How long ago did you do this interview?
5 or 6 years ago.
Oh, wow. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
Okay, well, cool. Well, just to set the standard here, this is Carly, and you work for Contender Esports. You work for me at our location here in Springfield. Yes. So how long have you worked for me, actually?
Almost a year now. I think in June it'll be a year.
Okay.
So
what did you do before that?
I worked at Ulta Beauty.
Oh, nice.
I was a beauty advisor. I taught people how to do skincare and makeup and hair care and all of it.
How did you end up finding us? I don't even remember.
So my now boyfriend, he had a Caliber Gaming Alliance.
You realize if you say that and he ever becomes not your, we don't want to say that, but this will be very awkward at that point to re-listen.
Well, it won't get there. So.
Okay, good. Okay, yeah.
He made a group for, just like bringing positivity to a gaming space, reducing violence from video games, kind of keeping online spaces safe.
Okay.
And it was a school project for him. And my roommate was in the College of Business as well. And it was extra credit for her to attend this.
Okay.
And I always played Nintendo games growing up. I've always kind of liked video games. And she was too nervous to go by herself. So she made me go along with her. And then I made a bunch of friends at Caliber. And then one of the other times I came by for one of the other Caliber meetings, I don't remember who was working, but I was complaining about my job at Ulta, actually.
Okay.
And they were like, well, we're wanting to hire another girl, so you should put in an application.
They said we're wanting to hire another girl, which actually was us saying we want to hire another girl.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. But you don't know who it was.
I think it was Miles.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. All right. So you heard this, and then?
And then I was like, well, I'm kind of hating my job right now.
Yeah.
This would be less money than I'm currently making, but I'm so miserable I don't care.
Okay, interesting.
So I just threw in the application, and I actually forgot to even attach a resume to the application.
Oh my.
So if you look at my application to apply for this job, I forgot to even attach the resume.
Oh boy, I don't even know how you got in.
I don't know either. But somehow I got the interview.
Yes.
And by the end of the interview, Jessica, who was the manager at the time, was like, yep, you're pretty much exactly what we're looking for. And then,
And here you are.
Here I am.
Well, that's the thing that I wanted to talk with you about today is because this idea of how it's different, probably yes, for females to be in the technology world and then maybe even in gaming also, and kind of what your experience has been with that and maybe some takeaways for people if they're facing some of these challenges.
Yeah.
And I want you to be really authentic with me, things that you faced and, maybe even some things that people have talked about, like it's very difficult for ladies or women to do these kind of things and maybe you have a different perception about it. But talk to me about did you always have interest in being in a technology career or gaming career?
No, because I'm actually, it's funny, I work here, but I'm the least tech savvy employee. Probably.
Okay.
I'm much better at the customer service. So that's, what I do a lot
Okay.
of. But, I've learned a lot and
Yeah.
I'm always willing to learn and I learn pretty quickly, I'm told.
Okay.
So I actually didn't even know anything about tech. So I got the job and then I went home and I was like, I am not qualified for this job.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I was kind of freaking out because I was like, I actually don't know how to PC gaming at all.
Okay.
Because I had only been PC gaming for about 6 months at that point. Before that, it had been my brother and I playing on our PlayStation 2 and Nintendo games. That's all I had any experience with.
Okay.
So it was quite the change.
Yes.
My dad got me a gaming laptop for when I went to college as you're kind of interested in gaming and then you need a laptop for college. So he got me a gaming laptop, started PC gaming on that. And my laptop is now starting to crap out. So I'm currently working on building my own PC.
You've become techie, kind of.
Yeah, I
through all
kind
this
of have become,
experience.
So I wasn't, but then I kind of just became.
What is it like, Carly, like to go now? There was a female manager at our place at the time, right? So was that surprising to you or not surprising?
A little bit surprising, yeah.
A little bit.
And then she ended up getting another job a few weeks later. So I went from having like this gal pal in the tech industry to I am the only girl who works here.
What did that feel like?
It would have felt more like isolating if our coworkers weren't so great.
Okay.
I got along with everyone very quickly. And then, Adrian, my now boyfriend, was my best friend at the time. He became manager, so my best friend was working with me. I liked all my coworkers, so it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And then recently I got one of my gal pals to join, Nevaeh.
Okay.
She and I were in marching band together.
Okay.
For 2 years.
Okay.
So I knew her from that, and I just knew she was good at customer service. And I think a lot of people think that this job is more tech-based than it is. It's actually a lot more customer service than some people think.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. So now you had a good experience. I mean, you came in, you were working with Jessica, a little gal pal, as you said.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that if there wasn't another female there, would there have been some trepidation about that, or what would you have felt about
I
it?
definitely would have been more nervous, and especially at the beginning of working there was a lot of kind of anxiety with it because the nature of the store is one person works at a time. It's one person running the entire store at a time.
Okay.
And so I get there, and I am the nature of our customer base.
Yes.
I'm getting flirted with a lot, which I went from like the customers at Ulta being like mean old women, like mad at me because I don't know the serum that will remove all of their wrinkles.
We're clearly not sponsored by Ultra. Or Ulta, I'm sorry.
Ulta,
clearly not. Okay, go ahead. So you went from that extreme
to suddenly like everything I say is like can be taken as flirting. And at first I was very naive, and I would like give out my Discord because I'd be like, oh yeah, like let's play video games together. And then these guys would think that I'm interested in them when I wasn't. So I actually had to like learn how to like say no to men.
Okay.
Which is something I kind of struggled with at first. Like I would feel bad if I didn't give them my Snapchat or my Discord or something like that. So I actually had to, I guess one thing this job gave me was the ability to say no.
Okay. What happened? Like what was it when you realized the moment when you realized they are misunderstanding what I'm saying and I need to change something? Was there an incident that happened or?
So there was this time, I don't usually work night shifts, the evening shifts, because I just get tired and I'm not very good at my job when I'm tired. Okay. Straight up, that's it. So I pretty much only work day shifts, but there was a stretch of time where I had to work like 4 night shifts in a row.
Okay.
And this guy came by and we were just talking and it was fine. And he said, I'm going to get your Snapchat. And I said, I didn't like fully hear what he said. And I just said, okay. But then he came up with his Snapchat and I realized what it was. And I was like, actually, I don't give my Snapchat out to customers. Like I don't give my information out to customers.
Okay.
That was kind of the excuse I gave him. And then he was like, well, why not? And I said, well, I just don't know the customers that well. Like, I don't know you, I'm not going to give my info to you. Like, I'm just not going to do that. And he goes, well, that means next time I come in, you're obligated to give me your Snapchat.
Oh my.
So I've had like a lot of very forward interactions like that.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of be like, I don't think I am.
Probably would not happen in the reverse. Like I can't see like a female gamer coming into one of our guys and doing the same thing. Did you feel like that was like really unique to just you as a female?
Yes. And then, telling my coworkers about it. So like our coworkers know of a couple of different people that, have kind of been weird to me. And so there's a small list that, we just kind of keep an eye out on.
Well, I think that guys in general, if they have any female paying attention to them in at any level, especially if they're not getting it generally.
Yeah. And then, I'm doing customer service, so I'm being very, very nice and
happy
and
yeah. So I can see where that could happen a lot. It probably is not relegated just to like gaming centers or technology or things like that. It's probably guys in general, but emphasized, I think.
Yeah, because this is, a more male dominated environment.
Yeah, and there aren't many females in gaming. I mean, comparatively. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So Okay, well, that's an important thing. So you learn not to, you had to set some boundaries, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? And that's probably something you would suggest to any other, like, did you have that conversation with Nevaeh?
Yeah, a little bit. She is a lesbian, so
Okay.
she has that to kind of going for her. So, you know,
Okay.
if someone kind of approaches her, she can be like, listen, I'm gay.
Okay.
It's not going to happen.
Okay.
I don't
Is
have
that something she wants the world to know because you just said this on a podcast?
Yeah, she.
Okay,
everyone
she's
knows.
okay. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Just making sure.
She's been with her girlfriend for like 5 years or something.
Okay, just making sure. I don't
Yes.
want to. Okay, all right.
Yeah. And so, you know, like she doesn't really have that same kind of barrier as me just because of that.
Yeah.
So she, you know, she can say, I have a girlfriend. And
Okay.
then that kind of shuts anything down.
That's the end of it.
Yeah.
Okay. What if another female came to work like at our place and you sat them down? Like, what would you say to them? Is like, watch these things and set these boundaries. What would that be?
I would say that the only kind of personal info I give any customers is Discord, because that's a very like gaming only kind of platform. Like you really only use it if you're wanting to play video games with people, and people still take that the wrong way. But I think I sent you a screenshot of a DM I got one time where I had been me and Faro, one of my guy coworkers, we both gave our Discords to this group of guys because we were like, oh, let's all play Counter-Strike together.
Okay.
And then I got private message and they were like, hey, not gonna lie, I thought you were pretty cute. And
Did they make that face when they texted it to you?
that's what I imagine they made.
I imagine they did.
I don't
yeah.
know. That's just like what I think.
Yeah.
But I actually replied with, I would love to play Counter-Strike with you. I don't want to date or anything like that. Like I had to like immediately shut it down.
Shut it down.
So
How'd they respond?
They just didn't reply, and they never talked to me again.
Really? Okay. That's so you would, if you were to bring, if we had another female come on, which would be great to have more females, obviously in the industry, we want to be open to that kind of thing and encourage that. But setting that kind of boundary,
I think it's just you got to be really clear right off the bat, because, you know, at first I was very much like, oh, I don't want to seem conceited. I don't want to seem, you know, mean or anything. But you kind of have to be a little bit mean. Like you have to be kind of stern. Otherwise, you know, they just continue to think, oh, she likes me. She likes me.
Does it feel, Carly, unfair that you have to do that, but the guys don't have to do?
To a degree,
they don't have that conversation.
Yeah, like it's just another kind of bit of a mental load for me that they don't have.
Yeah.
And, you know, my coworkers are great. You know, anytime I've felt uncomfortable, you know, they've been willing to come in or anything like that. Faro, he's so grumpy, yet he's actually a teddy bear. I always tell him he's the grumpiest sweetie pie ever.
You're calling out so many people today,
I know,
Carly.
I know.
Okay, go ahead.
But little things like I was working a night shift pretty recently, and I hadn't worked one in months. And even though he had been working all day, he was still there during my shift. And I'm like, Faro, like, go home.
Yeah.
And he was like, how many night shifts have you worked? And I said, I don't know, like 4. And he goes, I'm here to make sure you don't mess anything up, which is Faro for I'm here to help you if you need me.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, I have that support, which helps for sure.
And I don't think you perceive this as weakness, like having somebody there to just kind of watch out for you. And as a female, is that, I don't know, is that offensive to you that someone feels like they have to be there to help you?
No, because I know he doesn't feel like he has to.
Okay.
You know, I know that my coworkers know that I am like competent and capable if I need to be, but I don't want to have to be.
I have a buddy, his name's Bob, he's a neighbor of mine. It made me think of this. And we have this conversation all the time about our wives going out for girls' time or happy hour, whatever the thing is. And it's so difficult for our wives to understand this, but like as husbands, the like frustration, not frustration, but like the concern that we have about that whole kind of thing happening.
I mean, getting roofied or anything like that.
Yeah.
And any space is a danger.
Yeah. And he told, he's a family therapist, and he told me when he talks to his wife about that, he's like, this has nothing to do with you. It's not that I don't trust you. I don't trust guys.
Yeah.
Because they perceive things differently and they do things oddly sometimes. So I'm just wondering, like in this situation where Faro has to, he says as a nice guy, like, I'm going to come hang out with you. It's not really like a judgment on, well, you tell me. You don't feel like it's a judgment on you. It's a protection from other guys that might be
I mean,
stupid.
like, you know, he walked me to my car that night,
Okay.
you know, like that kind of thing. No, I know that if I said, listen, you really don't need to be here, like go home, I know you've been here all day. If I sat there and was like spelled that out for him, I'm sure he would have gone home and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But I don't close the store that often, partially because I don't like being myself, late at night like that. And so, like, I know that it was just there for me if I needed it. Plus, I'm hanging out with my homie.
Right. And I think we could wish it was different. Like, is there ever a moment where you're like driving home and you're like, I just wish it wasn't like this? Like, I wish it was the same as it was if I was a guy working here.
Absolutely, there is a degree.
Does that affect you emotionally, or how do you process that idea?
It's kind of one of those things that, women experience that even outside of tech.
Okay.
So as awful as it is to say, I'm just so used to it.
Okay.
Like just the way, victim blaming and cases of, assault and stuff on women. There's all kinds of stuff like that happens.
Yeah.
From a young age, girls are taught to not entice boys, but boys are not taught to not assault women.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's just kind of that societal idea. And so...
Does it feel like a weight you carry with you all the time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Really? Is there any sense that you think, like, if this one thing happened or these two things happened, like, that weight would be lifted off of me? Is there any kind of sense like that?
Not really, because, if the only time, I guess I don't have to worry about other guys is if someone's there kind of watching for me, but then that person being there is a reminder, I need to have someone here to watch out for me.
Okay.
And then if they're not there, I have to be doing all the watching out myself.
Okay.
And little things like on our closing tasks at work, we have like our list of tasks for the day shift and night shift.
Yeah.
On the night shift closing tasks, it says like after 10 p.m., walk women out to their car. Like you have that listed as one of our tasks.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of...
Yeah, okay.
It's just one of those things that's always there.
Yeah.
So, there is definitely a degree of that's unfair or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not going to get any better until there are women pioneering these kinds of things.
Okay.
So that is one thing I really like about working here is I am making a very clear difference. Because, as I've worked here longer, especially our regulars or people who have come in the store multiple times, they know that I'm not flirting with them. They know this. So, like, I've been able to kind of create a culture.
Yeah.
And we were kind of, considering hiring a few different women at one point. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I really stressed to our manager was that I don't want it to be a girl who's going to play into this.
Yeah.
Because, you kind of can get more tips and stuff.
Of course.
If,
you've mentioned that to me.
Yes.
Like you came to me one time and you're like, I'm getting tips for
nothing.
And I'm like, I don't understand. We don't take tips, but they were giving them to you.
Yeah. Just because I was pretty and nice.
Okay.
I literally had a parent, a dad during his kid's birthday party give me a tip for being pretty and nice.
Even more awkward.
Yes,
but you took the money.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
It's a tip, right?
Listen,
You're making money. I get
it. If I'm going to have to be dealing with that, I might as well get a little bit of financial compensation.
That's right. It doesn't equal everything out.
No, but it is. I might as well take the perk.
Yeah, that's
a win is a win.
So, I mean, what is it about you? Because you mentioned at the very beginning that the previous podcast you were on, which I didn't even know about, was about mental health and things like that. So it's, I mean, you don't have to talk about it, but I mean, there were generally struggles that you carry with you, that everybody has struggles, but how in the midst of all that have you been able to be so confident in this and overcome these kinds of stereotype things?
So, side note, not in the podcast. I do want to tell you about this at some point.
Okay, but not in the podcast.
Not in the podcast.
Okay.
I've had multiple extreme traumatic events happen to me in my life. Like we're talking things that make people uncomfortable when I tell them, or like when I tell them, they're like, "Huh?
Yeah.
No way." Like it's very surprising. So I struggled very significantly with my mental health. The main event happened about 6 years ago.
Okay.
And it was like a punch in the face. And like, I went from being, I had a few struggles, I've got some family genetic mental illness, but, had a traumatic event happen that all of a sudden I was like choke slammed with mental illness.
Okay.
And like trauma and all this stuff. So, I really struggled with, depression, anxiety, PTSD. Like I had a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm still working on some of that today.
Okay.
I've talked to you about it and you're always like, Carly, like, I don't know what you're seeking help for. Like you're always so bubbly.
You mask it very, very well. Okay.
Yeah. I've like worked very hard to be able to do that. And, most of the time I am pretty happy and everything, but, it's definitely a struggle. So I went on that podcast talking about, being 15 years old with extreme trauma and trying to navigate like high school.
Yeah.
Like I had something awful happen to me and now I'm supposed to go to class and do a geometry test.
Right.
Like I just experienced something horrible and now I have to go do that.
Yeah.
So, it was just a very strange thing. So I guess, one benefit to me now is I've been in therapy for years. I have been, trying different meds. I've been like working on myself very intentionally for a long time.
Okay.
And so, that kind of thing kind of helped me know how to set boundaries with these guys, and it helped me know, how to manage that anxiety.
Yeah.
There have been a few times where I've like been really uncomfortable by someone at work, really anxious, and thankfully we have regulars that are amazing, that are always there for me. Like I've made a lot of great friends with a lot of the regulars who are, there's a whole group of guys who, if anyone were to be weird to me or do anything to me, they'd get their shit rocked.
But it's taken time to kind of get there, right? It's unfortunate that you have to like compensate for this and deal with this, but it sounds like you're aware that it's not going away quickly. It's a long-term kind of process.
Yeah. So, just me being here and enduring it, I guess.
Okay.
And then there's also, we have younger male customers in our store. We've got, the 12-year-old boys and everything going through puberty and whatnot, like having all these emotions. And one of the other great things about our store is we can kind of help teach them how to handle like raging in video games when they lose, handling loss well, things like that. And I get to be a female role model in the gaming industry for these younger boys. Yeah. So I am like showing, women can be in gaming, all of this stuff. So I think, even though I might not be making like massive, incredible, immediate improvement to this whole situation, I am just a figure that these young boys can see,
It probably helps them also because when they play online and there are females playing with them, there might be this little thing like, if that were Carly, how would I behave? And you shared that with me, like when you play online, it's a little bit different. Like you have to have boundaries there also because it's one thing I think for people to address you in a specific way as a female when they're face to face, but when you remove that and it becomes, you don't know who they are, then there's a whole nother world of things that you have to deal with. Talk to me about that.
More cruel, I would say.
Okay.
If I'm not like gaming with a group of friends going into these online lobbies or whatever, I tend to not even turn my mic on. I just don't even speak because the moment they find out you're a girl, they can become really mean.
Yeah.
We're talking like I've had times where other random people online have found out I was a girl and then have decided to throw the game, like purposefully lose just because I'm a girl.
You're kidding.
To lose it for me. I've been told to go back to washing dishes, go make me a sandwich, go to the kitchen. Yeah. Yeah. And then,
and we don't know if these are 29-year-old guys or 13-year-olds, or do we know?
You can kind of tell by their voices approximately how old they are, but you don't really know. And I honestly do think it's kind of the older guys.
How do you deal with that? Like, I know, I've had one person tell me like they have to change their gamer tag and things like that. That's certainly something that seems like a tactical solution so I can play short term, but it takes away from the whole, like, this is who I am. Like, you have to watch what you say and not give hints.
I have
how do you deal with that?
I have a pink frog as my profile picture. Pink is my favorite color.
Okay. I couldn't tell from your hair. Okay.
So, there's all the kinds of little identifiers like that they can guess. And, I'm still new to PC gaming, so I'm by no means, like, really good at it.
Yeah.
I'm still learning. So I'm not exactly like going in there and getting like top frag, like most kills or anything like that either. So they see a girl who is not, literally number one, and that makes them feel like they can be even more cruel. So it's even worse if you're not like good at video games as a girl.
Yeah.
And that makes quite the barrier to entry for a lot of women, I think. Because, it's hard to get in those spaces because if you don't go in there already really good, and I even see women online, on TikTok or whatever, who are really good at video games and are still treated terribly by men online.
Because they're basically saying like your inability to be better or whatever has something to do with the fact that you're a female, which is completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's the easy go-to to get at somebody.
Yeah, so like these people might have like hundreds and hundreds of hours in like Counter-Strike. That's the game I play a lot. I only have 80 hours in it.
Okay.
And my friends have been teaching me and they all say I'm very good at learning and I'm very open to learning. I've been told that for the amount of hours I have, I am doing quite well.
Okay.
For the amount of time I've spent on it, I'm doing very, very well. But that I'm not great overall because, I'm still very new to it.
Yeah.
So you get these people with hundreds and hundreds of hours and then me with my only 80 hours, and then I'm not doing as well because I just don't have the time and skill and like experience.
Yeah.
And then, oh, it's because you're a woman. And
Okay.
go back to the kitchen. Clearly you don't belong in video
What's
games.
your response when that happens? What do you do?
I find that feeding into it just kind of makes it worse. So I usually just don't speak. Like I just turn the mic off. I just don't.
You just hope it like fades away and they just stop doing that.
I just kind of hope they forget I'm a girl and just kind of keep playing.
Okay. So when you go into play, like do you go in as you, like as a female, they know it, you just know you're going to get this kind of thing happen to you? Or do you change your gamer tag and do stuff like that?
I will usually just like stay quiet at first. And if they sound like they're kind of like, if they kind of sound mean, I will just keep the mic off.
Okay.
Sorry, I have allergies.
No, that's
so my
okay.
voice is a little. But if they sound like, they're reasonable people, I might turn my mic on, and sometimes I'm wrong. But honestly, really what it is now is I just don't play with people online. It's only
Okay.
with like a group of friends if we all squad up together and play together.
Are there safe places for females to play? I mean, Carly, it sounds completely ridiculous to me that you'd have to go to these extremes to compensate for bad behavior, because essentially we call that codependency, right? That's
Yeah.
what that is. Like, you're going to behave poorly, so I have to adjust my life because of you.
That is for women in all areas of life.
And the challenges, especially with gaming, and you can't see them,
Yeah.
you're never going to be able to change that entire culture. It's going to happen over time. Maybe parents need to teach better manners, or maybe there needs to be better supervision.
Yeah,
and
and
things
I mean,
like
it has gotten better, like even in past years.
Okay.
It's still not good.
that. Why do you think it's gotten better? Like,
Because there are more women in gaming.
Really? So do you think there's a correlation between the volume of females? I wonder if it's just a matter of them knowing, like, this is the storm I'm about to go into, and I'm
Yeah.
part of a solution, and it's not going to be easy for me.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. And then, you get a lot of women who just don't want to do that. And I don't blame them. They don't
I don't
want
blame them
to.
either. That's a tough message to have to send. I mean, again, it's just one more burden to put on your shoulders, and not everybody wants to do that. So what do you think happens? Do you think that that females, the majority of them, say, well, I'm just not going to game at all? Like, that's one option. Or the other one is to say, I'm not going to play online? Or like, what are the things that kind of go through ladies' minds?
I mean, I think for me, it's, I just won't talk into the mic. Like if I need to chat with my team, I'll type it out, but that means I have to stop playing to type out my message. Like,
Okay.
oh, they're heading towards site A or whatever. It takes a lot more time.
Because the moment you let them hear your voice, that happens.
And I've seen where some women online will actually get like voice modifiers.
Yeah.
So that when they talk into the mic, it sounds like a man.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot of compensation. And I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm in this industry doing this all the time. I don't think about these things, Carly.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I want to have this conversation with you is because, and we chatted about this the other day, having
Yeah.
coffee at Classic Rock Coffee, downtown Springfield. There's a little
Shout out.
shout out for them. It's an interesting topic because I was I told you, and I'm the first one to tell anybody, I don't understand these things because I am a white American male,
Yeah.
right? And it would be ridiculous for me to say to you, oh, I get it. I mean, I don't get it. I'm listening to you. I want to understand it. I mean, and the difference, I think, one of the differences between guys and girls is that for me, I'm trying to figure out how to fix it. I don't know how to fix it. I feel badly that this happens to you. I feel badly that for all females, there is the general notion that, yes, we want more female gamers.
But know that if you come into this space, it's going to suck at first.
Yeah, like that's unfair.
Yeah.
So what do you think, I mean, volume of people, how would you and I don't know, how would you communicate to females, like, we want you to be a part of this, we want it to be safe? Like, what are some things that you've thought about, like, if only this happened, we could solve this problem a little bit?
I think it's just finding communities, like I have my group of friends that I play with already.
Yeah.
And, there have been times where we've, gone into a lobby of Counter-Strike or something like that. And like, there have been guys like that are random, we don't know them, that are also in our group.
Yeah.
And then they hear my voice and they start being mean to me. And then all of my guy friends are immediately like wailing in on them right back,
Yeah.
absolutely do not. So, I think it's finding the right people to go into these spaces with. Like, I guess I would say just don't go in it alone.
Okay.
Finding not only, other women to play with, but find the good men to play
Yeah.
with. Find solid men who are not going to, you know, let people speak to you that way.
Does it help to have like if Adrian played with you, somebody said something and he like had your back? Does that have any effect at all in playing online? Like, do the other guys like just stop?
They're more likely to listen to him than me.
So they'll back off of you if he does that. Again, should not be a thing.
Yeah.
That should not be necessary. But I'm just curious if there's like that kind of pairing up thing that would help to give safety.
It's definitely a safety in numbers thing.
It's almost like walking into your car.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never thought about this before, but
Yeah.
I wonder if that kind of idea, because I'm looking for solutions to this. I mean, like you, when I got in to this industry, one of the things that was very important to me is I told people we want to build these centers so that females felt very safe. Even to the point of opening doors for them when they leave, and some people might get mad about that kind of thing, but I'm a big manners guy, so like open the door for them when they leave, make sure there's good lighting in the parking lot, things like that I think are very, very important. But I think to extend that to, I wonder if there is some kind of like pairing up, I don't know, program or something that we could do to let the ladies know, like, you're going to be safe because these guys literally have your back.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be an awesome thing to kind of start. We should kind of look into that.
We should do that, Carla. You just came up with this just right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what would we call something like that on the spot?
I don't know.
I don't know either. You should mention it to your boyfriend, Adrian, who has a much deeper voice than me. He's very podcast centric. Like, he would be very good at this.
Yes,
he's anxious to get on here with me.
Yeah, he actually this morning while I was getting ready to come here, he was like, "Wow, you're getting on the podcast before me."
I know. I don't know what's going on here, but he'll have his time to shine. So that would be an interesting conversation for you to have with him. I don't even know how he would facilitate something like that. Have you ever heard of anything like that in the gaming world?
No.
Okay.
I've heard of like groups of girls getting together to play, but never necessarily pairing them with guys, because there is definitely a safety in doing that.
Yeah. I wonder if that's an interesting message. Like, if like you play Counter-Strike, right? So
that is a very, very male-dominated game.
That might be an interesting thing for us to do even at Contender Esports, is find some girls who do play Counter-Strike, bring them in, pair them with guys, and not paired like date, but like just know, like, these guys are with you. We're going to play together. You can be who you want to be. You be Carly. Don't be anybody else. And if anybody gives you trouble, these guys right here are like your brothers. They're going to come after whoever it is and have your back. I wonder if that would have an effect on things.
It might.
And it might not.
It might. But it's kind of hard to like organize something like that. Like right now at Contender, every Tuesday night we have ladies' night.
Yeah.
Women play free.
Yeah.
We still don't have a lot of women coming to those.
Of course. Yeah. It's because it's this thing, right? Like, it has nothing to do with money or even getting out of the house. It probably has to do with like this general, I'm a female, I don't want to deal with that nonsense.
I mean, yeah,
my friend school and work and everywhere else.
My friend who was, coming to that first Caliber meeting at Contender for extra credit for school, she wanted me to go with her because she was nervous to go by herself.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, that might be something for us to think about. What about just generally, Carly, friends that you have away from gaming, just in the tech industry? Do you feel like there are ladies who want to be in the tech industry, but because of similar kinds of things, they're just like, I don't want to do that kind of career because of guys?
I don't know that I've like heard it really spelled out like that, but I almost think more subconsciously maybe.
Okay.
Women tend to just not kind of go for those jobs.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it's like an active, thought out choice, I guess.
Okay.
But there's also just, that kind of, the tech kind of stuff isn't really introduced to girls at a young age.
Okay.
So, kind of subconsciously, I guess, like they're less likely to be interested in that as they get older.
Okay.
And less likely to be interested in trying to go for that kind of career.
And I've heard those stats before. You probably know them. I don't know what they are, but like girls that are involved in like STEM education have, whatever number X more interest in being in technology as a result
it's just,
of that.
Part of it's getting it introduced at a young age.
Yeah.
Because boys, they have gaming stuff brought to them at a very, very young age. I don't know if I would have been into video games if I didn't have an older brother who was into it.
Okay.
I remember us being really little, playing on the PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
By the way, PlayStation 2, Shrek 2 is one of the best games ever.
Better than Stray. I know it's not the same world. I know you love this game that I made fun of you on TikTok.
I know
about.
you did.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But you love this
It is
game.
one of the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a side note. And then we got our Xbox 360, and then we started playing games on that together. And then we had the Wii, and we were playing on that together. And then He got a PC, which we could only afford one,
Yeah.
And so he kind of was more into video games than me, and he was better at them than me. So he kind of ended up playing that, and I just kind of took the Xbox. And then I got the Nintendo Switch. He kept with PC, so we were kind of just on different consoles,
Okay.
But then I started working here, and now I kick his butt. So,
Oh, nice,
yeah.
nice. So you haven't really met any other ladies that are like wanting to get into tech in there?
Yeah, because I think it's just not introduced. Because there was that interest for me because, I have all of these fond childhood memories with my brother playing video games. Like, that's how we bonded. And, over, the pandemic, over lockdown, that's all my brother and I really did. We sat together and played video games.
Yeah.
That was a very big bonding. That was kind of what got us through that time, that period of time. So, it was just introduced to me, and I don't think, if I didn't have an older brother who was into video games, I don't know that I would have really been as interested.
And we really don't have that many young girls coming into play, even now that I'm thinking about this, at Contender. Like, they're not doing birthday parties, they're not doing...
Yeah, I recently booked a birthday party for a girl, and it's the first birthday party I've booked for a girl since I started working here
That is
almost
really
a year ago.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. And how do you know what they're going to play, or why did they want to come to Contender, or what's the reason?
I don't know. I literally just booked it a few days ago. So
I mean, that's amazing. So you're saying, and I just want to try to understand this. Like, there is this need by companies for females to be in the tech industry. We can't change the culture. Like, the companies have to change their own to make it safe and all these kind of things. But the flow of ladies to come in to get into tech,
it has to start from a younger age.
it has to, from the interest that they have. And maybe we're not creating pathways for young girls to have that kind of interest. Maybe that's where we need to spend some energy and effort and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I mean, I'll be honest with you. In thinking about marketing birthday parties and things like that, I never think about a mom booking a birthday party for their young girls. Matter of fact, now that I'm thinking about this, there's not a single image of a girl playing games in a birthday party ad that we run.
Yeah.
Now I feel guilty. But I would not have understood this
But yeah,
outside
I mean,
of you.
it's not like, you're sitting there thinking, oh, I'm only going to put boys on this. It's just, you don't have to think about it, so you don't.
Yeah.
And that's not your fault. Women have to think about it, so we do.
Yeah. I wonder if that would make a difference. Like, if we had something special for, of course, they have to be interested in gaming to begin with, right?
Yeah. So there is a degree of that too. So it's kind of a hard thing because, societal, in our society, there's just not a lot of introducing girls to that. So girls don't have the initial interest in it. So it's like, not only do we have to make the space safe, but we have to make girls have that initial interest as well.
Okay. I wonder, I'm sitting here thinking about Big Brothers Big Sisters. We work with them here in town. I'm wondering, I need to talk with Susan, who leads that organization. She's an awesome leader in Springfield, Missouri, to talk with her about how many littles, they call them littles.
Aww.
I know it's cute, isn't it? The bigs and the littles are female. And then maybe give some of these stats to her and some of this information about females needing to be exposed to these video games, just so they can have a choice, right?
Yeah.
About, do I want to be in this or not? And then maybe we can develop some programming for them.
And this is entirely like my personal experience. There is no actual stats or data on this.
I know. I just wanted to talk to you about it.
In my personal opinion.
In your personal opinion.
I think whenever girls come in to play,
Yeah?
I think they learn faster than the boys.
You know what? I think there's actually scientific proof for that. I thought about that earlier. I think that I don't know this for sure, but I think I've read somewhere that females, especially in gaming, they have quicker response rates.
Something like that. I don't know, but I just feel like they grasp the game quicker. They grasp mouse and keyboard quicker than boys, I think.
Okay.
I don't have any actual solid numbers for that, but I just feel like in my experience of helping kids in video games, I just feel like girls get it quicker.
Okay. Well, these are some serious things to think about. I don't know how we're going to solve these problems, but I wanted to talk with you about this because I think it's something we can't ignore. I definitely want to be someone, this for you. I want to be someone that you feel like is listening to you.
Yeah.
Because your opinion matters, your life experience matters. You're one of my favorite people in the whole world. You know that.
Yeah.
You send way too many pictures of your cat to me, but that's aside the point. But I think as a whole for our company, for Contender Esports, we definitely want to be on the edge in some things that maybe some people aren't thinking about when they're building LAN centers or doing gaming or esports and all that. Can we change the whole thing? Probably not, but can we do our part in trying to make it safer?
We may not be able to change like the entire scope of the entire place,
Yeah.
but we can change the entire experience for individual women.
Yeah. And we can try to do it in Springfield. I mean, that's the main I mean, our main location is here in Springfield. And if our franchise locations have an opportunity to kind of implement some things as well, it's a tough one for sure. It could be as simple as some of these ads, some of this media that we're doing. I like the pairing idea. I don't know how to implement that, but Adrian's going to come up with a solution for that. That's going to be great. And then I think just for us to be aware of it, and then for you to know that if something comes up that we need to adjust or change, or you have an idea, that you can say that to us and we can go, okay, let's try that. Because there's this disparity, obviously, between what we hear that corporations want to have more females in their technology companies.
But they don't really say how they're going to go about it.
I don't think they know.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that you just brought this, like, it's actually because they need to start being involved in this as little girls. I mean, I've never heard that before. That's the first time I've ever heard that. So that's an interesting idea. It's a long-term investment for a company, right? So if we have like a local company here in Springfield go, I really believe in this, go, okay, great. We need to do this with like 8-year-olds right now.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we're going to get zero benefit out of this for, 10 years or 15 years, right? So it's a big commitment from the city. And in business, we talk about ROI, the return on investment, right? So trying to find incremental ways for it to be beneficial commercially, not just for the companies, but obviously for females to say, like, there's a pathway to careers in technology. And as a city, we want to help make it easier for you.
Yeah.
And they, parents might say, well, my 14-year-old girl she's not interested in technology. And your response would be, well, I wonder if she played, what was the game you played?
Shrek 2.
Shrek 2. When she was 8, if that would have made a difference. It did in you.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you even have now, you've got customers come in that they don't think that you understand technology as well as they do.
I have like people. Okay, so get this, right?
Yeah.
I literally work at an esports company.
Yeah.
I have had a guy like mansplain to me what a DLC is.
Okay. Yeah, because you couldn't possibly understand this because you're a female.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I've had people just assume I don't know how to do my job. Like I've had just like my knowledge of my own job be questioned quite a bit.
Yeah.
Or, just like, you probably haven't heard of this game. And then like, it's like a really popular game. And I'm
Fortnite. I'm kidding.
I don't think it's ever been to that extreme. I can't think of something off the top of my head, but it's
Do
just
they
things
say
like that.
things like that to you?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
I had in the way that some of the ways guys try to flirt with me is actually really funny. I have a lot of really funny just like stories. I had a guy come in and he was like, yeah, you've probably heard of me. I've won a Brawlhalla tournament. And I was like, no, I haven't.
Yeah.
He didn't even tell me his name. How would I have known?
Yeah. Maybe it was on topnerds.com and he could have had his name listed there or something. So
I don't know.
That was a terrible joke. It's a dad joke, Carly. I'm allowed to say things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's funny. So
just like things like that, like they try to, I guess, impress you with, and it's just weird. I'm like, you would not say this to one of my male coworkers. There is no way you would have marched up to Faro and said, you might have heard of me. I've won a Brawlhalla tournament.
That's true. They would never do that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Mike was literally there when that happened, by the way.
That's funny. And again, the inverse is not true. Like, no girl is going to come in and say that to one of our guys.
Yeah, no girl's going to come up to
Probably.
Faro and be like, Faro, you might have heard of me. I won an Animal Crossing decoration competition. This is not...
That's hilarious. Well, Carly, we've said it all.
Yeah.
For
Well,
this topic, at least.
For now.
Yeah. So probably what's going to happen is that people are going to write in and they're going to say, let's get rid of Brett Payne. Let's just have Carly do a podcast.
Sounds
Some
good.
What do you mean sounds good? You're not supposed to agree with that. Well, thank you, my dear. You're the best. You know, I think the world of you.
I know.
We'll talk again, okay?
Of course.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on thelocal.gg. If you liked today's episode, please remember to subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Join us next time on thelocal.gg.